And welcome back to the Irish Hotspur. It's Jack here, and I'm going to be providing you guys your predicted lineup for our Europa League clash with Ferencvaros, the team out of Budapest. We have traveled over to Hungary, traveled over to Eastern Europe, and hopefully we can pick up all 3 points and continue this great Europa League run, as well as this rich vein of winning form at the moment under Ange Postacoglu. If you can for me, everybody, get into the comments below if you think you disagree with any of the lineup decisions I have made. I'm not too confident on all of these because it's difficult with some of the injuries that we've been having to deal with, and also just because I'm not usually the guy to do to the predicted lineup. Dave, at the moment, is just taking some personal time to deal with some stuff. He should be back tomorrow or whenever you're watching this. I think today, the game of the match day, so you should be able to see him there for it. He should be joining me for the match day festivities, but hopefully, you guys can at least tolerate me for this one time on the predicted lineup. To smash that like button though, and let's get straight into this. And we are going to go for goalkeeper, and I've gone for Vicario. The reason I've gone for Vicario is he's been playing really well recently. So I feel like we want to keep that confidence in Vicario, but also because Fraser Forster for me didn't really take his chance in that Coventry match. He did not fill me with any confidence. He almost gave up 2 goals, in fact, the one where he barged through the back of Draudu Dragashin and had to rely on a Ben Davies to make a really ridiculous goal-saving type clearance off of the line there. And then he also had within like 30 seconds, or at least within a minute, he nearly gave the ball away to the opposition to score when he tried to play that pass out from the back to Bergvall. So I just feel like Fraser Forster at the moment in time is not filling me with enough confidence to be able to play him in a game away from home where we already don't technically have the best of form. Yes, we picked up that win against Man United at Old Trafford, but our away form still isn't that great when you look at it as a whole. So I think we should still go with a version of the stronger lineup that we can. I think Vicario wouldn't be a bad option. And also, we only are so far away from international breaks, so maybe we can get away with just pushing Vicario that much more. Now let's go over to right back, and I have gone for Pedro Porro. The reason being is because Destiny Udogie is going to be out. Jet Spence is technically not available for selection, as well as also Sergio Reguilon is not available for selection. So I think we're going to have to find a way to get Archie Gray as well as Pedro Porro into this team. We'll have to push Pedro Porro, see if he can be able to put in close to, I'd imagine, a 90-minute performance here. You don't want him, though, to pick up any injuries or anything, but at the moment in time, we don't really have that many other players to pick, which is why for my left back decision, I have gone for Archie Gray. Like I said, there's no Jed Spence available, no Destiny Udogie available, no Reguilon available. So who else do we really play? Technically, you could go for a Mickey Van de Ven and a Davies combination on the left, but in my opinion, I feel like Mickey Van de Ven actually needs probably more rest than almost anybody else in that back line with some of the great performances that he's had, but also because he really had to push himself in that game against Karabag and also had a great performance against Man United where he played all 90 minutes. So Davies is obviously going to come into the team, but I feel like Archie Gray does deserve some minutes and will likely play on either the right or the left. So I've gone with Pedro Porro on the right and then Archie Gray on the left. I'm not too sure if this is going to end up happening. I'm not too confident in this decision. So again, in the comments, let me know what you think Ange Postacoglu will go with. Of course, it's not what I want to go with. It's just what I'm predicting Ange Postacoglu might go with. And I thought, though, that Archie Gray looked pretty good in possession in his game against Karabakh. Maybe he struggled a little bit with the 1v1 defending when we went down to 10 men. So I'm going to give him that excuse and that bit of a leeway because we went down to 10 men. And I also think that maybe he didn't have maybe the full match sharpness and match fitness to be able to deal with that type of situation that we found ourselves in against Karabakh. So I think Archie Gray should be able to be fine playing at left back. He's a very smart player, very intelligent, positionally aware. He knows how to be at the right place at the right time, usually either in possession or out of possession. And I think this could be another test for him. And also, he is a guy that even in interviews before has said, I just want to play no matter what. He said, I can play at center back, I can play at right back. He said, if need be, give me the goalkeeper gloves. He's just somebody that wants to play. And I really rate that mentality about him because some players, they'll be really kind of jogged up and they're kind of really too tied down to a certain position or a certain way of playing and they can become very picky, whereas someone like an Archie Gray just wants to be out there, he just wants to be given minutes, and I think I can really rate that. So perhaps he's just going to be given that spot at left back, even though it isn't technically ideal for Ange Postacoglu or even really for Archie Gray, but it'll really test him, and I think that's what it's all about. Let's go over to right-sided center back, and for right-sided center back, I have gone for Romero. He will have to fill in for Radu Dragusin after picking up that red card. Potentially as well could be given the captain's armband again after he had it for the Manchester United game because Sonny is also not available, right? And he was given the captain's armband over Vicario, over James Madison. So you think that Ange Postecoglou is going to push Romero to play again in this game and also to give him that sense of responsibility, that sense of accountability as the leader. He played well versus United, in my opinion, and I think he needs to start picking up some good performances off the back of each other. Get a good consistent run of form because at the moment Romero's had a bit of a mixed bag of a season. I think he shows for the most part, his quality, but when some of the goals that have gone in or some of the goals that we've conceded, Romero has been at fault for a lot of them and has played a part in a lot of the goals that we've conceded. So I think if you just continue to play him, let him build some confidence and also let him build some sense of responsibility as the captain, as the leader of the squad, I think you should be able to play him in this game at right sided center back. And he's also pretty good at breaking down teams, really good passer out from the back. Still, in my belief, I think he is the best passer we have out from the back line. And I think that should be helpful against this FERENCVAROS side, who I'd expect, I don't know how they play particularly, but I expect that they will look to try to sit in, play every man behind the ball. And then someone like Romero can be really useful, I think, against teams like that when we are in possession. But let's move on to left sided center back. And for left sided center back, I've gone for Ben Davies. And I think that's pretty obvious. I think Ben Davies has played pretty well in the two games that he's filled in for. I thought he's had some good passing out from the back. In fact, he's made different types of passes, passes over the top, in behind the opposition back line. He's tried to pick out some ones into the midfield. I think he's been really positive actually in possession. And then defensively, I can't really say he's put much of a foot wrong. He's been pretty good in the air. Anytime that they've tried to go over the top of him, he's dealt with it well. He's anticipated it. He's not really been caught that much, with a ball in behind or anything like that. And I think he's just been pretty reliable so far. So fair play to Ben Davies, someone who I've been very critical of in the past. And I'm actually happy to see that I don't have to complain about a Ben Davies. And I think he should be given the start in this game. And he's definitely impressed me so far this season. So I'd expect him to play as a left sided center back. And I do think that's his better position compared to left back. I think if we were to go for Mickey Van de Ven and Ben Davies in this game, I prefer Mickey Van de Ven to play in the left back position and then keep Ben Davies in that left sided center back spot. But I think we are going to give Mickey Van de rest, or at least that's my guess going into this one. But let's go to the number 6 role, or at least the deeper lying midfield role. And I've gone for Bentancur. The reason being is because I think he's going to be facing a potential ban from the FA. So this could be a good opportunity before we have to start playing Basuma in some of the regular Premier League games as well as cup competitions. I think this would be maybe one of Bentancur's, chances to still get some more minutes, still get some more opportunities to play. And he might be then reserved for more of the Europa League games if that ban does go through and it ends up being a pretty lengthy one at that. So I'm going for Bentancur just for the reason of the kind of potential ban that's looming over his head at the moment. And I think he's been immense recently, especially against United. I thought he's been playing really, really well. He's been very tidy in possession. He's anticipated danger. He's held that sort of role really well where he's not venturing too far forward, but is also, pressing high up the pitch and helping us win the ball back. It's just been a really good number 6 of recently. And I think he should be given more minutes. And I think he should, be given more opportunities before this ban does end up coming through. And I did tip him, by the way, to become the most improved player of the season when Dave and I did our season predictions. And the reason why is because I think if we get him back to where he was previously before he picked up those injuries, which I think started around the World Cup with Uruguay, I think we saw before that injury in the World Cup that he looked like one of the best midfielders in Europe at the time when he was playing alongside Højbjerg under Antonio Conte. So I think this is a great chance to, again, give Bentancur more minutes, continue to see if we can get some confidence into him and see if we can get him back to his best form. And if we do, I think we'll have a real top midfielder on our hands. But next, we're going to the right sided center mid, or at least maybe the more box to box center mid. And I've gone for Pop Matasar. I thought he played great against Karabag when we went down to 10 men. I thought he put in a real defensive shift, got stuck in, really helped out Basuma, and just had a really good game in general. And in fact, he actually played a part in almost all the goals that we ended up scoring with making challenges high up the pitch, which led to, I think, Solanke feeding Johnson for that first goal. Then he, of course, he was the goal scorer in the second on that set piece. And then on the last goal, he made a really nice run of behind, a very unselfish run of behind and help, bring others into play, which led to the third goal. And I think Pop Matasar, based on that, really deserves, I think, some minutes in this game. And like I said, in case we need to put in a defensive shift at any point, he did really well against Karabag. And he's someone who presses really well off the ball, very unselfish player. I think, out of possession. I think he should be very useful for this game. But let's go to the number 10 role, or at least the other midfielder playing ahead of Bentancur. And I'm going to go for Bergval. This one is tough. This is another one that I'm not too confident in. I'm not too sure about. I'm a little torn on this one because Madison took part in the press conference with Ange Postecoglou. And if you are taking part in the press conference ahead of a game, you would assume that that guy is going to end up playing. And then also, it'd be pretty harsh, I think, to break apart that Madison Kulusevski vein of form that we're in. I think both will probably, I don't think we'll see both play in this game because I think one of them deserves a rest, but they've both been playing so well right now. They both have really helped Spurs tick and also been those really good chief creators in our team, especially in that midfield. So it'd be harsh, I think, to break that up for them to give them a rest here because they've been playing so well and you want to keep that confidence in them. But Bergval, for me, I think he just deserves minutes, right? And Bergval was really harshly taken off. I think it was the right decision to take him off, but the fact that we had to do it because of the red card, I just have some sympathy for the guy. So maybe this is one where I'm more kind of thinking with my own head that I really am thinking through Ange Postecoglou's head. But I'm expecting that Bergval will get some minutes, or at least I hope he gets a lot of minutes in this game. So I'm just going to see if Ange Postecoglou gives him the start here. But I'm really torn on this one. And in fact, if I were to actually make a separate guess, I would assume it might be James Madison that might be played in this one. But let's move on over to the left wing, and it's going to be everyone's favorite, Timo Werner, Timo Weenie. Let's be honest, Ange trusts him. Ange seems to like him. Ange wants to play him when he can. And he did do a lot of little things right, I think, against Man United. I thought he caught Mazraoui lots of problems. I thought he actually combined with Destiny Udogie quite well down that left wing. And for me with Werner, it's more just a confidence issue than it really is much of a skill issue because he actually, like I said, did a lot of the little things right in that game against Man United. He did contribute to what was a good team performance, press well off of the ball, didn't have too many sloppy moments in possession or anything like that. In fact, for the most part, was pretty positive. It's just that as a forward, part of your job is also to put the ball in the back of the net and to finish those chances that you're given. And the guy has just been devoid of any confidence in front of goal for a long time. Not since he came to Spurs, well before he even came to Spurs, seems to have been devoid of any confidence when played in behind, especially in front of goal. And I just think that Timo Werner, let's hope that he can get that confidence back. But I don't think it's as much of a skill issue or anything with him. I think it's a huge confidence issue. He's almost like he has the yips basically in front of goals. So I don't know what to say to him. I don't know what to tell him differently or what to give him any sort of different types of encouragement. I just hope that he can play well and he can put in a similar performance to what he did against Man United. And then I think that could help us get the win. And then hopefully he can put a goal in the back of the net as well. And hopefully Mikey Moore comes on later in the game to either relieve Timo Werner of his duties or to either give someone else on the right wing, who I'll be showing you in just a sec, I think a bit of needed rest, which then transitions me on to that right wing. And the right wing, I've gone for Brennan Johnson. He's in a rich vein of form right now, 4-4 in the last 4 games. You'd like to give him a rest, but I think he needs to keep playing for the sake of the team right now. It's kind of more of a team decision than it is for Brennan Johnson's own fitness. He scored against Karabakh, scored that first goal, and that sort of side foot placed finish in the side netting has really kind of become his trademark in recent games. He's gotten very close with that type of effort. And I'd say continue to do that, my friend, because that seems to be working out for him and at least challenging the goalkeeper more. And it's been going in the back of the net. And I'd like to see Mikey Moore be given some minutes in this game. So what I could expect is Brennan Johnson gets given the start, Timo Werner is given the start, but then Mikey Moore comes on to relieve one of them, and probably more likely someone like Brennan Johnson on that right side, because you'd expect that Brennan Johnson will start against Brighton. And the other thing too is that Brennan Johnson, when he goes out on international duty, I don't think he'll be given much of a rest there. You'd expect that Wales will probably still play him for the majority of the minutes that they have over on international break. So it seems like Brennan Johnson is in need of a rest. It's just for the sake of the team right now. Let's hope he stays healthy and let's hope he at least gets some rest via Mikey Moore, maybe later on in the second half if things go well. But let's finish off with the striker. And we've gone for Solanke again. Solanke could also probably do with some rest, but we don't really have that many players that could come in and really fill in for him. Richarlison is back on the grass, but it doesn't look like he's traveled with the team or anything like that, at least to my knowledge. And I'm not sure if he's even ready to start playing again. but it does feel like we're going to need to push Solanke for this game. He does need more match fitness. He does need more match sharpness. He's played really well, don't get me wrong. And as you guys know, I'm a huge Solanke fan, but he didn't have any preseason whatsoever. So technically pushing him in this situation might not be the worst thing in the world. It might be good for him just to continue to get more match fitness, more match sharpness. And hopefully he keeps bagging the goals and doing the little things right. Because at the moment he's getting these poacher goals, but they are also matched up with really good kind of, solid performances where he's doing a lot of the little things right, from pressing off of the ball to working really hard out of possession to also as well, holding up the ball. He's done a great job in bringing others into play. He's been really smart, I think, when he has dropped deep to try to link things up with the forwards as well as with the midfield. I think he's doing a lot of the little things right, Dominic Solanke. So I say continue that, and then hopefully he can be given some rest at some point, maybe by Will Lancashire, who did travel with the team for this game. So perhaps we'll get to see some minutes from a Will Lancashire. But I'm going to leave it there, everybody. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this predicted lineup. Hopefully, you guys got at least something out of it. Maybe I got some of the predictions right. And if you can for me, smash that like button on your way out. And I'll see you for the match day festivities on Thursday against FERENCVAROS Europa League, my favorite competition. And come on, you Spurs. In the big Ange we trust. We never stop. See you, everybody.